I know that PMP was actually the first course you had on your platform when you set up your very successful edtech company. You also see people who are not in the right role. So again, when I join a company, I do not come with the idea that I'm going to change the entire management team. It's not the way it works. I always try to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of the team I have and give people the right roles for them. And a lot of that is discussing with them, talking to them.
In the last 2 years, once you have taken over, we see a lot of new innovative products coming out of PMI, be it like PMI Infinity, PMI Study Hall, PMI Project Management Copilot. Should PMI ATPs should be worried?
It's clearly our ecosystem. We call it the flywheel, right? So all the components of our ecosystem working together for the same objective to increase project success. Of course, ATPs are absolutely essential to that ecosystem. So not only you should not be worried, but you will see the scope of what the ATPs will do expand.
Last decade or so, a lot of new profession came into being. Investment banking is like a very celebrated profession, very rewarding. Data scientist and product manager. How do you see project management profession transforming?
Project management is about transformation. It's about creating something. It's about making a move. As long as the world will have things to transform, we will have project professionals.
How do you see AI becoming an integral part of project management profession?
Asking PMI to fight AI, to make sure that we can protect our job. That's not realistic. So I'm not going to try that because it's a bad idea. I think what we need to think about is how AI is a fantastic opportunity for us as a profession.
Stories. Well, that's what most of us have heard others tell. That's what we have probably heard too growing up. Well, what makes a great story? Maybe it's not that complex. A simple story with little incidents, failures, roadblocks, and those tiny milestones that need to be celebrated. Maybe it's as simple as that. Join me on this journey as I share uncommon stories of common people right here with you. Keeping in line with the theme of showcasing uncommon stories of common people, today we have a very special guest. Let's connect with Pierre Lehmann, the CEO and President of PMI. Let's find out who Pierre is. The former CEO of several reputed organizations like Consodata to serving for over 17 years as a CEO of Ipsos, one of the largest market research companies present in over 90 countries, to becoming the CEO and President of PMI. What brought him to PMI? How is PMI making projects successful in an era dominated by artificial intelligence? What does this mean for the numerous organizations, government institutions, professionals and learning platforms? Let's dive into his leadership tips and skills he would like to share. Over to Pierre. While talking about that, I also want to know that what made you join PMI as a CEO? Because you have been a successful CEO for so many different companies. We had so many different options to take up as a new role. So what attracted you to PMI mission and this whole transformation journey?
First of all, thank you, Krishna, for inviting me, and thanks for all the great cooperation between Simplilearn and PMI over the years. And I know that PMP was actually the first course you had on your platform when you set up your very successful edtech company. At this stage of my life, I accept a job when I think I can help, right? So the most important thing is I looked at the situation of PMI and I thought I could help. On one side, I had a relevant experience. It's in the knowledge sector. I spent my entire life, yes, in different kind of sub-segment of the knowledge sector, if you want. I worked in consulting, I worked in publishing, I worked in ad tech, I worked in, as you know, in market research. I worked in consumer insight, data analytics, and I had also started to work in education, and I'll come back to that. So knowledge sector, for me, it's what I've been doing my entire life. The need to scale up, to globalize, this kind of a inflection point in any company, and I'm sure as an entrepreneur, you understand what I mean, right? When you get to the point where you don't have enough resources to do what you need to do if you want to become a real global player, but you still need to do it, right? So that very specific phase in the life of an organization is something I've done many times. So I thought I had the relevant experience for that.
What is a non-negotiable virtue when it comes to leaders, or in general, if somebody that you want to work in your organization, something that is like non-negotiable, and you also think that that's something you can't teach? This is a virtue either you have or you don't have.
So there's not so many things you can teach, right? So most things you can teach. The problem is the time you have, right? So when I build a team and when I try to turn around a company, I don't want to spend 20 years fixing it, right? So even if you see the potential in someone to fix some of their weaknesses, you don't want these weaknesses to be like so far off to an acceptable level of performance that you will never get there in a reasonable time frame, right? But otherwise, I would not make the statement that you cannot improve. I do believe you can improve in absolutely everything, right?
So one question I wanted to like frankly ask you from the community side, that should PMI ATPs should be worried that maybe PMI is becoming hiring this A team, they're launching new product. So why can't PMI itself deliver all these training programs? Why do they need ATPs to work with PMI?
Of course, ATPs are absolutely essential to that ecosystem. So not only you should not be worried, but you will see the scope of what the ATPs will do expand.
So if I see this whole project management profession, it existed for, I don't know, ever since we have documented history, somebody making things happen. But in the last, I would say last decade or so, a lot of new profession came into being. Investment banking is like a very celebrated profession, very rewarding. Data scientist and product manager. And somehow this project management profession kind of became more like, it lost its like charm or glamour, if I have to say so. How do you see project management profession transforming? If I look at from my perspective, I think that it always existed. Anything that you do, project management is always embedded. You can't deliver unless you manage it well, and everything is a project at end of the day.
You know, you're right to say that project management has always existed, because in the end, project management is about transformation. It's about creating something. It's about making a move, right? And so as long as the world will have things to transform, we will have project professionals. Or people doing project management. And I do not expect the level of transformation and change to slow down, right? If anything, we all know it's accelerating. And that's why, by the way, PMI is growing and everybody's growing in this profession in the end. What you're touching is a little bit different. Let's face it. Sometimes there's a lack of recognition, so yes, if you tell your mother-in-law that you're an investment banker, maybe you should be happy about that. I mean, I'm not sure, by the way, but some of you may think that she will be happy about that. You say you're a product manager. Right now, it's a little more edgy, because in tech, project managers are called product managers in many cases. Part of that is because, of course, as we know, the life cycle of a project is not very clear. Products evolve all the time, so it's been rebranded a little bit.
Now, Pierre, I want to move on to a point that I see you talking about a lot, is AI. I would not have imagined PMI talking about AI, frankly, a few years back. But I see that when it comes to AI, you have like a lot of viewpoints on AI. You are launching AI-related products for the project management community. And how do you see AI becoming an integral part of project management profession? What part of a typical project manager's job do you think AI can help them become more efficient at?
What can I say about AI? I think we're going to reach a point where, in this adoption curve that is very famous from, I don't know if it's Forrester or Gartner, like this curve. We'll reach this, we've probably already passed the peak, and we would be in a phase of disenchantment a little bit, and people will wonder how to use it effectively and all of that. Initially, especially when ChatGPT was released, that a lot of anxiety surfaced across all professions, but in particular in the project management profession. Old studies, like 5 years ago, saying that 80% of the tasks of a project manager would be automated, created a lot of anxiety, frankly, in the profession, or either anxiety or sort of a different kind of protection reaction, right? Let's not even talk about it. Or asking even PMI, I heard that the other day, asking PMI to fight AI to make sure that we can protect our jobs. That's not realistic. So I'm not going to try that because it's a bad idea. I think what we need to think about is how AI is a fantastic opportunity for us as a profession. We want recognition, good. If we can help the companies we work for transform their business models, their activities, their operations with AI, will be very, very recognized, trust me. So any project manager who can do that, manage an AI transformation, is going to be a big star.